Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kadian, and if you are new here on this channel, I document my journey to becoming debt free and towards attaining a life of abundance. So, if that sounds interesting to you, please do stick around. So, what have I been up to? The last time I came on here was like 2 weeks ago, and a part of my journey to becoming debt free is to upload weekly videos to see how is it that I'm progressing, the challenges I'm having, and how I'm overcoming it, and pretty much to document the journey. However, I was not able to do that last week. I simply felt like I had a lot going on. It was extra shift at work, starting a new job, and I felt a little bit overwhelmed. But when I really take a step back and gave it some thought, I realized that this is what it's gonna take. So, what it is that I really need to do is to better manage my time. I am sure other more successful people do stuff like this and even more, and they're able to do it. So what's different? And even myself personally, in other times in my life, I was doing way more than I'm doing now, and I was able to. So I gave it some thought, and what I realized is that I need to brush up on my time management skills, and that is what I'll be talking about here today. So I have developed a time management strategy, and I have utilized basically five principles, and I'll be talking about them today. So if that sounds interesting to you, please stick around. So the first principle is commitment. Before I add a task to my list of things to do, I ask myself this question: is this task something I'm committed to doing, or is it something I would like to get done? There is a difference. I do not put anything on that list of things to do if I'm not fully committed to getting it done. And that goes back to something that I discussed earlier on, which is basically developing trust within myself. I do not want to add anything to the list. And then later I change my mind, or I wasn't fully committed, or I said, okay, I'm not doing it. I don't want to do that. I want to build trust within myself so that if I say I'm going to do something, I'll do it. And in the long run, what I'm realizing is that I'm a more confident person by doing this. Another principle I'm using is first thing first. So basically, what that means for me is that I'm going to get the more important tasks done first thing in the morning. So, for example, when I was just starting to go back to the gym, I would ensure that I go in the morning. So it's less likely for anything to come up, and then I use that as an excuse not to go if it is that I had planned to go in the evening. And what you find is that the more important tasks are the ones that you are least enthused about doing. So even if you're there busy all day doing other stuff, it's always going to be in the back of your mind because you know you need to get it done. So what I'll do is just get it done first thing in the morning. And that has been helping so far. The third principle that I have utilized in my time management strategies is basically to commit to one thing at a time. This whole thing about multitasking and all of that, it really doesn't work. But it doesn't work for me. Other persons would argue that it does. It doesn't work for me, and there is some evidence in research to show that all you're doing is pretty much switching from one task to the other, which in fact takes up more time. So I have been just adding one thing to my list at a time, and I put it in more like a time block as opposed to task blocks, because a task may take more time than I anticipated. And so that will just throw off my entire plan. So I put it in time blocks versus task blocks, if you get my drift. But that doesn't mean though that you can't group activities. For example, yesterday I was roasting chicken, came out really nice by the way, and I had the Berkey to clean. I don't know, but let me know if you can relate. Do new tasks come into the home and by default there was no discussion about it, nothing like that, but by default it becomes your responsibility, even if it's a task that you do not enjoy doing, by the way. I don't know, but cleaning the Berkey just reminds me of dusting the whatnot when I was young. I am sorry, I digress. I hated dusting the whatnot, by the way, but that's neither here nor there. Anyways, I had the Berkey to clean this weekend, right? So what I did while I was roasting the chicken, I put the chicken in the oven. Then I scheduled that time while it was being roasted to clean the Berkey. I was already in the kitchen, and so I got that done, and then I completed the task of roasting the chicken. So it's like I group those activities that are similar to get them done during the time that I was already gonna be in the kitchen. So that's one example of grouping tasks as opposed to flipping between tasks. The fourth principle that I've utilized is to respond versus react. So, as you know, this is all a plan, right? Nothing is cast in stones. Things will happen that's beyond my control, or I did not foresee to happen. So, this is where knowing my non negotiables come in place. So, for example, gyms, going to the gym any day it is that I'm not doing one of my 12 hours, and I do 3 12 hours per week. Whenever it is that I'm not doing one of those 12-hour shifts, it's a gym day. All right. And that's a non negotiable for me. And other stuff like showing up for my son to important events such as awards, that kind of a thing, those are non-negotiable. So I already established from the get-go what is it that are my non-negotiables. So if I'm faced with something where there is time constraint, I go back to my non-negotiables and I decide what it is that I'm going to do. Like for example, the other day I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed by chores, getting stuff prepared, and it was a gym day, and of course nothing is going to prevent me from going to my gym, within reasons of course, but that is high on my list of things to do. Before all of that, before establishing it as a non-negotiable, it would be the thing that would be thrown out, right? But by doing that, I know that I'm going to go to the gym, and it just helped me to prioritize and to see what it is that I can put off to the next day. Not that I'm not going to do it, but see where it can best fit and what it is that I'm going to choose to get done today. So I would say your non-negotiables or any task that's gonna propel you in your dreams, knowing what your goals are, that kind of a things. Then you use that to rank it, and the day will be as productive as it could be. Well, that's what has been happening to me in the last week, and that is why I'm here and able to put out another YouTube video this week, despite having even more things that I had going on last week. Because as you guys know, I started my new job the 19th of the month, so I have that added that I didn't have last week, and I'm still having more time. I even had time to go couponing. I got some really nice stuff, by the way. A little bit of a side note, I recently tried this Tide powder, which I am loving, by the way. Let me know if anybody else has tried it and what they think of it. I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't know I would, but let me know in the comments. And finally, principle number 5 is making time for fun. So, as you know, it's warming up outside, and this is a time where everyone is outside and just making the most of the season. So what I've been doing is that on weekends, at least a couple hours, both Saturday and Sunday, I have it free. And this is to allow me a little bit of flexibility so that the wife and I can go out and have some fun. So, for example, last Saturday, we were just called upon by a friend to say if we want to go on a trail, and we were able to go, and nothing got sacrificed or pushed back because the time was allotted in the event that something like that happened. And so, if it is a situation where nothing came up, then I would use it towards other tasks, such as those assigned to Monday or Tuesday. I would get them done. But the time slot is there to pursue fun. And this in itself prevents burnout and offers some amount of flexibility, which is vital in any plan. So, there you have it, the 5 principles that I've been utilizing to help manage my time, which I can say throughout the last week that I've implemented it has helped me tremendously. And so far, I've been able to achieve all the tasks that I've set out to do. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to talking with you next week to let you know how my new job is going. I've just had like orientation, so I haven't been in the field or anything yet, but I'm excited. It's something brand new, as I said before, and I'll share it a little bit more about it in the future. So, thank you so much for spending your time with me. I appreciate all of you, and I miss being here last week. I did not know I would, but I totally did. And I just want to stay committed to the task at hand as I trod on this debt free journey. So, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and hang out with me. Cheer me on. All right.